Today's video is sponsored by Squarespace. Athena, the goddess of wisdom, handicraft, and warfare. Interestingly, she was never meant to be born. She came into this world much like Duncan from Macbeth, not of woman born. Instead, she swelled in the head of her father, Zeus, in the form of a fierce headache until she was brought forth from his forehead. Though she is referred to by most poets and mythographers as a motherless goddess, with most claiming that she was born from Zeus's forehead by parthenogenesis, the most famous account of her birth was actually told by Hesiod, and that states that she did indeed have a mother. According to the tale, her mother, Metis, was swallowed by Zeus to prevent her from birthing a child who would take the throne of Olympus from him, in the same way that he had taken the throne from his father, Kronos. Athena was born from Zeus's head once it was split open by the axe of Hephaestus, in order to cure him of his horrific headache, which turned out to be caused by Athena's presence herself. Athena's mother, the Titan goddess Metis, was an elder Oceanid who was once one of 300 daughters from the Titans Oceanus and Thetis. Metis was renowned for her cunning, planning, wisdom, and counsel. You can see where Athena gets it from. She was so famed for her cunning that she was the one who counselled Zeus in the war against the Titans by giving him a potion that would cause his father Kronos to regurgitate all of Zeus's siblings. 10 years after the Titanomachy, she was pursued by Zeus and became his first wife. According to Apollodorus, Metis was R-worded by Zeus after she attempted to escape him by shape-shifting frantically into different beasts, one that could fly, another which could slither, another that could gallop, and another that could swim. But her shape-shifting magic was no match for the persistence and violence of the god Zeus. Once she was pregnant, Zeus heard rumbles of a prophecy, one which warned him that Metis would birth a son who would overrule Zeus, and so, in an effort to protect himself, Zeus swallowed her whole. But before we get any further, I would like to take a quick moment to thank today's sponsor, which is Squarespace. I mean, look at your screen right now. That is my beautiful website, ladyatthelibrary.com, launching soon, that I have made over on Squarespace, and I love it so much. I have been milling away at this for so long, playing with the branding, coming up with concepts and ideas to recreate my brand in a whole new way that focuses on productivity, personal finance, academia, mental well-being, and so much more. And Squarespace is a perfect platform that makes it easy for me to monetize my content and expertise in a whole new way that transforms my brand and makes it so much more accessible to so many more people. Squarespace is a fantastic place that lets you do everything from selling courses or classes to followers, which I hope to do in the future, to building email campaigns where you can collect subscribers and convert them into loyal customers or just followers of your blog. And it also has built-in analytics features that gives you insight into who's visiting your site, where they, spend all their time on your website, traffic sources, geography, and so much more. So if you're like me and you want to expand your business or just build a whole new beautiful website for your blogging leisure, then go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Lady of the Library to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Often known as Pallas, meaning girl, or Pathenos, which means virgin, Athena, obviously named after Athens, which was the centre of her worship, was once known to have an olive wood image of her in the Erechtheion, which could be dressed or undressed, like a mannequin. To this day, at the heart of the Acropolis stands a sacred olive tree, the gift to the Athenians from Athena herself, after she and Poseidon vied for Athenians' affection. In this myth, both Poseidon and Athena are fighting to be the core god of Athens, as it were. Poseidon struck his trident hard on the rock of the Acropolis and shook the earth and unleashed a saltwater spring. The Athenians, however, weren't that impressed because they actually had access to plenty of rivers and they were close to the sea, so his gift was met with limited enthusiasm. Athena, on the other hand, kneeled and planted a seed in the ground. Within minutes it fully grew into an olive tree that rose from the earth, rich with bounty adorning its branches. Not only did the tree offer Athenians high-quality timber, but the fruit could be eaten and made into olive oil and provided a wealth of benefits to the Athenians, who proclaimed Athena as the winner of their city. Obviously, the olive tree that stands at the Acropolis today is not that old. When the Persian king Xerxes' armies swept through Greece and sacked Athens in 480 BCE, they burned and destroyed buildings on the Acropolis and the sacred olive tree. Yet, according to Herodotus, the olive tree sprouted back the same day to the height of 2 cubits, and its growth was a sign of Athens' future for a quick recovery. It is said also that a sprig from the tree was planted around Attica, leading to olive groves all around the city, which have also been burnt and destroyed and resurrected over the thousands of years of the city's history. Even during World War II, when occupying German forces badly damaged the tree, staff from the American School of Archaeology rescued a branch, and the tree that stands there today was planted in 1952 from a cutting by Queen Sophia of Spain, who was then Princess Sophia of Greece, at its original location. For over 2,500 years, the tree has remained a worthy symbol of Athens, an undying and ancient representation of prosperity, peace, hope, and resurrection. The dressing and undressing of the olive wood Athena was done towards each midsummer at the feast of Plynteria. In June came the festival of the Panathenaea. The Lesser Panathenaea was celebrated annually, and the Greater Panathenaea was celebrated every 4 years by the Cult of Athena. The Panathenaea is said to have been founded by Erechtheus, the grandson of Athena's adopted son, Erichthonius, who, according to the Iliad, was born from the cornland and raised by the goddess. Okay, so this is where it gets slightly confusing because the early Greek texts do not distinguish between Erichthonius and Erechtheus, but by the 4th century BCE, they were 2 very distinct figures. So there's a little overlap with the names surrounding them in texts. What we do know is that Erichthonius was the son of Hephaestus, who, in an attempt to rape Athena, splashed semen upon her thigh. She wiped it off using a fillet of wool and cast it to the earth, and from that semen, Gaia was impregnated, and Erichthonius was born. Now he was described as a half snake, half man, and Athena took pity on the creature and raised the child in secret. She placed him in a small little box and made sure that no one ever found out what was in there. But Athena gave the box to the 3 daughters, Herse, Aglaus, and Pandrosus, and they were the daughters of the king of Athens, but she warned them never to look inside the box. Pandrosus obeyed, but Herse and Aglaus were overcome with curiosity and opened the box containing the little infant future king, Erichthonius. Naturally, they were terrified by the sight of a half serpent baby, and they went so insane that they threw themselves off the Acropolis. Though there are also other versions of the myth where the snake baby actually killed them. Erichthonius continued to be represented alongside Athena in ancient art as the little snake hidden behind her shield. According to mythology, Erichthonius' grandson, Erechtheus, was the founder of the polis and the king of Athens also, and his name became linked with Poseidon, who was also known as Poseidon Erechtheus. In his lost play, Erechtheus, Euripides gave Erechtheus 3 daughters, one of whom was appropriately named Chthoniia. Whilst at war with neighbouring Eleusis and its ally King Eumolpus, Erechtheus sacrifices his daughter Chthoniia, but her sisters also insisted on sharing her fate. Though he lost all 3 of his daughters, Erechtheus won the battle, but at his moment of victory, he was destroyed by either Poseidon or a thunderbolt by Zeus. So during the Panathenaea, celebrating Athena, cattle and sheep were slaughtered within the temple, and for every 4th year, a new woven robe, a peplos, was presented to the carving of the olive wood Athena. The festival ended with a great procession, which included the heroes of the marathon, athletic and musical contests, and recitals of epic poetry. Prizes for the games were amphorae painted with the figure of Athena and contained, as you can imagine, prime olive oil. She was not only an important figure in Athens, but her role as a protector of the people was revered amongst many cities. For example, she was named the patron of Sparta and appeared on Corinthian coins. She was also held as an important figure in Thebes, because, according to myth, she aided Cadmus in founding the city by advising him to plant the teeth of the dragon that he just defeated, which created the first citizens of Thebes. But what happened to the olive carving? Well, it's said that her divine image was carried away by the invading Persian army in 480 BCE, which is a very interesting choice considering that the Persian army had access to all of the marvellous marble and bronze statues at the Acropolis, but they chose to take that. Their decision to take the olive wood image was very likely because, according to Pausanias, it was the holiest thing in all of Attica. Naturally, Athena is known for other symbolic items, including not only the olive tree, but she's also known as having an owl perched on her shoulder and Aegeus bearing the Gorgonian. Another important facet of Athena's symbolism is that she was also usually adorned with gold tassels and golden armour, with the most famous representation in the ancient world being the monumental gold and ivory statue of the goddess by Phidias, which resided in the Parthenon of Athens and was over 12 metres high. Though the original statue was naturally lost, smaller Roman copies allow us to imagine what it would have once looked like, and in this image we also see scenes from the battles of the Amazons and the giants on her shield, and a sphinx and 2 griffins on her helmet. Out of all the gods and goddesses in the Greek world, Athena's image in literature and the cult was never actually radically altered. Her place in the Pan-Hellenic gods was clearly defined. She was shrewd, a companion to the hero kings, as the Odyssey tells us, and the patroness of crafts, and the favoured daughter of Zeus, according to Hesiod. For example, she aided Heracles during his 12 labours by helping him hold up the world as Atlas went off to find the sacred apples of Hesperides, and obviously, she aided Perseus in the slaughtering of Medusa by giving him the shield with which he could protect himself by using it as a reflection. Athena also helped Jason and the Argonauts when they were on their way to Colchis, where they were actually nearly squeezed by these 2 gigantic rocks. In the myth, Athena appears between the 2 rocks suddenly as they start closing in on the Argonauts, and she held them apart until they came through. She also gave a golden bridle to Bellerophon, with which he was able to tame Pegasus, and Odysseus also benefited greatly from Athena's wisdom. We see Athena in the Iliad when helping Achilles kill Hector by encouraging him forward, and then also disguising Achilles as one of Hector's allies to lower Hector's guard. Naturally, as the goddess of warfare, Athena plays a huge role in the Trojan War. Having never recovered from the humiliation Paris inflicted upon her by choosing Aphrodite as the most beautiful, she takes the Achaean side in the war. According to the Odyssey, Epius is said to have come up with the idea of the Trojan horse thanks to divine inspiration from Athena, though Virgil credits Odysseus with the idea of the Trojan horse. But it would make sense that Athena would give divine inspiration for that plan. She also helps the Achaeans in the war, such as Menelaus, whom she protects from an arrow from Pandaros, and then when Diomedes prays to Athena for revenge against the man who injured him, who is also Pandaros, Athena endows him with superhuman strength and extraordinary power to discern gods on the battlefield, leading him to not only kill Pandaros in a very gruesome manner, but also injure the god Ares himself, a wound which Zeus deems as well-deserved. In an interesting turn of events, one which stands quite stark contrast to the tale of Medusa, Cassandra, the Trojan priestess, takes shelter in Athena's temple and embraces the wooden statue of her in supplication for her protection. However, Ajax, the Greek warrior, rapes Cassandra in the temple so violently that he knocks over the goddess's statue from its stand as he drags Cassandra away, who is clinging onto it for dear life. Not only did he defile Athena's temple in the same way Poseidon did with the rape of Medusa, but he defiles the priestess under her protection. Though rather than punish Cassandra in the same way she did Medusa, according to Apollodorus in chapter 6, section 6, she actually kills Ajax alongside Poseidon. Quote, Athena threw a thunderbolt at the ship of Ajax, and when the ship went into pieces, he made his way safe to a rock, and declared that he had been saved in spite of the intention of Athena. But Poseidon smote the rock with his trident and split it, and Ajax fell into the sea and perished, and his body, being washed up, was buried by Thetis. Now, this is a very interesting turn in Athena's mythological arc, because from the vast majority of her accounts, from what we see, the one thing that can be said about Athena is that she's not really a girl's girl. I've already covered her treatment of Medusa in the video on her myth, but her second most famous battle against women comes from the myth of Arachne. For that reason alone, Arachne deserves her own video, so we won't go into that here. But whilst viewing these stories of Athena, we often see that Athena embodies internalized misogyny under the laurels of girl power, as it were. But this take obviously operates under a modern westernized construction of feminine and masculine binaries, where masculinity is represented by assertiveness, aggressiveness, reservation, coldness, whereas femininity is represented by passiveness, empathy, emotions, and cooperation. As Kaufman explains, Athena started out as a Cretan goddess of protection, born of an oral matrifocal tradition. Her strategies are to subvert, derision, not win a war, but she, like all Cretan culture, was co-opted by the Greeks, which was a deeply patriarchal culture, and with this shift we see her become a more masculine figure, deriving from entirely masculine origins. When she sprung from her father's head, she did so fully clad in armour, a helmet, a sword and a shield. In Greek literature, Athena always often stresses her masculine allegiances. We see this with her alliance with Orestes in Aeschylus' Eumenides, her punishment of both Medusa and Arachne in Ovid's Metamorphosis, and so on. She is what would be described as today as the ultimate not like other girls girl. She is a virgin who dislikes women who succeed in their femininity. She invokes masculinity to gain authority and always supports men, even during events when they are dominating other women. Today's video was actually a request from Danielle. Thank you, Danielle, for submitting your form. My forms are always down below. If you have a request for a podcast episode or a video episode, please let me know down below. Thank you specifically to my patrons and my top tier patrons who are Arch Capitalist, Nicholas Reed, and Andrea Bazil. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Please consider liking and subscribing if you like this content, and you can also sign up to my newsletter down below. All boxes down below, and I'd love to hear your thoughts and requests. Thank you all again, and remember, stay happy, stay healthy, and books save lives, so keep reading.